your boss is in town, huh? Well, of course he can come over. Sure. I'll make some appetizers, of course. You're so lucky, I love ya. Mwah! Besos! Ay, Dios mío. Oh my gosh. What am I gonna make? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna make? Gotta come up with something. Hi, ladies. Besos. Welcome back to my kitchen. As you can see, I'm just a little bit of a pickle. I have to come up with a delicious appetizer with a wow factor pretty darn quick. My big dilemma is that I don't have time to go to the store. So I went through my cupboards, I went through my fridge, and I think I'm going to give a little Latin flair to something that we all have had before, or at least I think we all have before, really easy to make. So what we're going to do is we're going to give chips and dip a little bit of a twist. For this recipe, we're going to need one 15-ounce can of just store-bought chili and one 8-ounce container of Philadelphia cream cheese. That's our dip component. Really easy. For our chips, rather than using just plain tortilla chips, which I love, I'm going to make some chips with some yuca root. And yuca root is something that's near and dear to my heart. I was born and raised in Central America, and yuca root was a big part of my growing up. So I'm kind of really looking forward to putting all this together. Hang with me. I promise you, you're going to love it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our yuca. And in order to prepare our yuca, we have to treat it almost like you would treat a potato. It's got a hard shell on it that almost has a waxy consistency to it, and we need to get rid of that. And that's just as simple as peeling it with a potato peeler. So we're going to get all that off of there. And you can see that now we're coming down to the root vegetable where we have just a white skin. If you look at it, the first layer of the yuca is the brown, of course, skin, and underneath it there's a small peel or a small layer that's got almost a maroon color consistency. We want to make sure we get rid of both of those. Okay, and it's not hard to do. Come on, get off of there. Okay, and just like a potato, any areas that you have that look discolored or that look like they're not good, you're going to make sure you work through. And I'm going to cut this guy in half because we don't need all of it. And I'm going to flatten out each end. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a mandolin and I'm going to make my chips. I'm very fortunate to have a mandolin. If you don't have one, you just use a knife and just cut it to a thickness that would work for you. It is a hard vegetable to get through, and as you can see, it's going to be about not even 1/4 of an inch thick, but that's all we're going to need to do. So put a little elbow grease. Like I said, you don't need aerobics when you're in the kitchen. All right, I'm going to finish peeling that, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I finished peeling all of my yuca root, and now we're going to slice it all through the mandolin. Like I said, if you don't have a mandolin, of course you can use a knife. It is a very thick root vegetable, so you do have to put just a little bit of elbow grease into it. And because it's so starchy as well, in order for it to fry it, we have to soften it up a little bit. And my grandma's trick for doing that was always to drop it into an ice bath for about 15 to 20 minutes. Be careful if you're using a mandolin when you get to the end. It's gotten my finger a couple of times. You don't want that to happen. So use a guard if you have it. So I'm going to finish cutting up all the rest of my yuca and putting it in the ice bath. And I'm also going to get my deep fryer started. And I'll be right back. The timer just went off. That tells me our yuca's been sitting long enough. As you can see, the water has a really hazy tint to it. Almost looks like it's foggy. And that just means that we achieved the goal of pulling out some of the starch. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drain it. And I'm going to again run some cold water out of it. I just want to make sure to get all of the ice cubes to melt. And also to give it a good rinse to make sure that any residue residue of starch that was left on there gets washed down the drain. Alright. Now, anytime that you're deep frying anything, water is not a component that you want to have mixed with your oil. So now we're going to set these out on a paper towel and just allow them to dry here a little bit. And I like to lay them out, and then I like to take another set of paper towels and just kind of give them a good squeeze. All right. Our deep fryer is set at 375, same temperature that you would use for French fries. Oh, look at that, it opened up for me, it's ready to go. And we're going to just start placing our Yuca chips into the oil. Be careful because there is going to be a little bit of water residue, and I really don't want you to burn yourselves. And those are going to sit in there between 3 and 5 minutes, just enough so that they're really, really golden brown and delicious. Okay, I just wanted to show you that our Yuca is in the fryer, and you can see that it's getting a really nice golden tone to it. Okay, our Yuca is nice and brown, so we're going to take that out. And I'm going to set it on a plate with a paper towel on it, just to make sure that we get as much of that oil out of it as possible. And when it's still nice and warm, I'm just going to salt them just a little bit. Nice and crispy. My kids actually will eat this by itself, and they call them Panama French fries. A little bit hot, but delicious. The last of my Yuca chips are frying, we're going to start our dip. And I'm going to take that can of store-bought chili, and I'm just going to warm it on the stove. You can also do this in the microwave. Throw that in the trash. Put this guy on the stove, and we'll just warm it up a little bit here. And we're going to take our cream cheese, just one 8-ounce package, which is at room temperature, and we're going to add this to our chili. This is one of my favorites. I like this because I can do it at home for a quick afternoon snack or an appetizer. And my kids love to take it camping, and we just make it over the camp stove. It's great. Great, delicious dip. Let me get rid of that. We're just going to start incorporating all this together. All right, I just wanted to take a second to show you how the cream cheese all melted into that chili. Look at how delicious that looks. Really easy. And this will thicken up also as it cools a little bit. All right, so we have our delicious Yuca fries and chili and cheese dip ready to go. Let's taste it, make sure that it looks and tastes the same. Delicious. As my grandma would say, delicioso.